For this video, I've chosen to don one of my favorite Peanut characters. And it says simply, "Nope, not today." My wife, Karen Ann Sims, gave me this t-shirt. And it speaks volumes to where I have been at several days over the last several months, when I had to tell myself, nope, not today. Yet, things crept in upon me several days ago. And I found myself waking up throughout the night. I think it was Friday night, maybe, last Friday night, in a restless state. And I'm sure many of you can attest to waking up in the middle of the night with this energy and you don't really know what to do with it, and things are running through your mind much the same as that mouse does on a wheel, just running over and over again. And you perhaps have done all you can to find that calm space. Perhaps you've done as I do now since I work night shift, put on some relaxing, meditative type music, some sounds. And even in that space, you perhaps discovered that you were still restless. No matter what you did, you could not find that peace of mind in that space. Even though you may have told yourself, nope, not in this moment, you were still slightly agitated for one reason or another. This culminated itself in this feeling of restlessness. Reached a head when I finally decided yesterday, after time has passed, I made it a conscious decision to record a podcast episode on my podcast, Life is About More Than Living, entitled Restlessness. Now, I was debating whether I should go back and do part 2 also on the podcast. However, I've chosen to do part 2, that means this video, which I'm going to do my utmost to keep it under 10 minutes so I can share it across multiple platforms, such as TikTok, because currently I only have like a 10-minute window on TikTok for sharing a video until my followers increase and they grant me more time and more space to do longer videos. That being said, this subject of this video is restlessness, preconditioned to fail. I'm tying it in with the very first episode of my podcast, Life is About More Than Living, which was entitled Preconditioned to Fail. Because sometimes I think when we're in that space, we feel like no matter what we do, really, we are going to fail in one aspect or another. We will fail to get the proper rest, or we will fail to make the proper decision because of not getting the proper rest when we get up and get about our daily routine. Because of being in a state of restlessness for so long, when we should have been resting, we perhaps get setting ourselves up to fail at whatever we're going about in that day, in that moment. Someone once said that failure is not final and failure is not fatal. And if it was the end of all things, then I would not be standing here between two of my street signs. One, the larger one, Life is About More Than Living, a podcast connecting our stories. And the other, saluting my book, Split, Souls in Transition, with a foreword by Karen A. Sims, now Karen A. Sims Harrell, since we got married last October. I'm going to share with you what she wrote regarding Split. She said, "Courage, power, and respect are words that are often overused and at the same time misunderstood by many. This misunderstanding of these words are often shown in the little lives lived by those who hold extraordinary talent and an immeasurable favor, but refuse to share their talents to change the world. You will not see evidence of any shirking in this writing. Mr. Alfred Harrell is bold in his imagery and direct in his storytelling. The deepest family secrets are being revealed in hopes to incite the riot needed to encourage change and healing. You see his courage as he speaks of his personal accounts of trauma, discovery, self-rediscovery, and even the rebirthing of himself into true manhood. She invites you, those of you who may purchase Split Souls in Transition, to take this journey. Take this journey to places that are often only kept in the recesses of our minds, or even places that we could never really imagine. Those off-limit memories, Mr. Harrell's words will be your guide through this literary journey. She continued to say, I hesitate to tell you to be prepared for a whirlwind because ingesting his work will manifest a little bit differently in each mind. She goes on to say, I will encourage you to stay open, reflect upon each written word, and feel the stories and memories that have been shared in these pages. The pages of Split Souls in Transition. Born of my restlessness, December 25th, 2021. The other morning, my restlessness reminded me of the need to be reborn, reminded me of the need to get back to telling stories, reminded me of the need to get back to doing what I do well, have done well for almost over 20 years, as a poet and orator. No, I may not write poems every day, and I may not write as others write, yet I will write, yet I will tell my stories, yet I will tell the stories based upon the lives of others. I will, by means of this podcast, as I've done in times past, bring to light things that others dare not talk about in a certain context, such as topics dealing with religion. Because when we really think about it, we really want to get the core of things. What's happening in Israel, but Gaza right now, it has a political spin to it. However, anyone who has gotten close to the Christian world, dove into this Judeo-Christianity type faith that's practiced here in America, but realize that behind the scenes, the narrative has been pushed since the founding of this country that the Israel of the Bible is the same as the Israel in the Middle East, even though that Israel in the Middle East is now dominated and led by Zionists. It is a political state that was formed around 1947 with the aid and assistance of the United States. And those religious leaders who are pushing the narrative that this place, because it's a physical location of an ancient nation, is the same. It's the same as that nation. A nation which was a theocracy, instead of what this nation now is, an apartheid nation. And the narrative has been pushed that anyone does not support it are being anti-Semitic. Yet the Palestinians are also Semitic. You look into their bloodline. The original inhabitants of that place were people of color. Thanks to the nation of Russia, so much information is coming out now about the original nation of Israel, the original church, how many of those portrayed in the text, it's been documented, the text of the Bible were actually people of color, were people of color. So that's just one thing that, like, the podcast will dive into from time to time. Well, I'm going to end up going over 10 minutes. I want to do it in 10 minutes. It ain't going to happen. So I'm about to drop a reel, y'all, to cross-promote this video. But that's okay. But that's just one example of things I would talk about from the political spectrum on the podcast, Life is What Wants a Living. The first was about the book, the journey, my journey. But it's not just my journey. It's the journey of people I've known over the years. I've encapsulated their life stories, the stories they've shared with me in very short poems. I've been blessed to tell the story of Karen and I, who are coming up on our 3rd-year anniversary as a couple. I'm telling her part of our story in that book, Split Souls in Transition. For she didn't only contribute the foreword, She contributed to the narrative, my narrative, where when I find myself in a state of restlessness, I find the power to rise up from it and say, nope, not today. Now, my personal mantra is no matter what happens, I win. That's a saying I came up with around the same time we came together as a couple. No matter what happens, I win. I challenge you to incorporate my mantra as well as this slogan here. When you find yourself in a state of restlessness, where all hell seems to be breaking loose inside of your head, and your life seems to be spiraling out of control, split. God knows, for so many years I masked, I covered up the spiraling. I went through a marriage. I helped raise two amazing sons. I played the part. And I jump on the religious aspect of things hard because at the age of 17 to 18, as talked about briefly in that book, my book, Split, Souls of Transition, I went from a challenging, traumatic upbringing to a home life, a spiritual home life with Jehovah's Witnesses, which I talked about briefly in that book. I went to a safety net where I gained a lot by studying scripture, but lost who I was. And when I finally accepted the fact that I was living a lie for so long, a marriage ended. My marriage ended. But it ended probably long before it was actually physically over. For we can only wear a mask so long. Do I regret those years? No. For regret is a negative thing. I embrace what I learned during those years. I embrace the beauty of having two amazing adult sons with whom my relationship was getting stronger. I embrace being married to Karen Sims, though we don't always see eye to eye. And some days, like most couples, we struggle. I embrace being able to walk in a place of worship and speak my truth while they're dishing out their truth. I still walk out in my truth. I come to embrace the ability to stand here with you in front of this camera and talk freely from the heart. I've come to embrace that life is beautiful even on days when I don't think it is. I have come to embrace restlessness, the power therein of being restless, and how in that state, we become so much more than who we are. Once we acknowledge it for what it is, that it's a temporary moment in time. It is not the end all be all. It is that state of mind which is really shaping you to shift you into a different time and space. So that you can say, no matter what happens, I win. So you can say, nope, not today. Preconditioned to feel, yes, I was. I've often challenged people to go back to the very first episode on Life is About More Than Living and listen to the episode. Or even listen to the other episodes I built around it. I'm not asking of you today. What I'm asking of you today is to simply acknowledge that whatever you have been through, or perhaps are going through, that may cause you to believe that you are failing, that in some way in a perpetual fall. Does not have to be your reality. Does not have to be your end game. Then before the day is over, I may find myself spiraling in that same negative disposition. After all, I am human. We are all human. We all sometimes find safety in that which is most comfortable, even if that which is most comfortable is that thing which is really to our detriment. But we all have the same ability if we choose to exercise this same ability to step up, to rise up, to get up, to move differently. To tell yourself, no matter what happens, you win. To tell yourself, nope, not today. I encourage you, I ask of you, I implore of you to go online and find Split. I encourage you, I ask you, I implore you to look up Life is About More Than Living. To subscribe to Life is About More Than Living. To order Split Souls in Transition, whichever online retailer you choose to order it from. I implore you to click the link tree that will be the link to my Linktree website link, which will be included with this video. It should be on my YouTube channel. It will be there actually, but I'm also included with the video. I implore you, I ask of you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I implore of you, I ask of you to find me on TikTok, More Than a Poet, Alfred Harrell. Follow me. I implore you, I ask of you to subscribe to Life is About More Than Living. It will cost you nothing but time. It will encourage me to create more content, and it will encourage me to go live more often as a subscriber. We can really interact together, share, have dialogue with each other. Those who have met me out doing my side hustle, those who met me doing my other side hustle when I'm out in the community working to get the coins in, to care for day-to-day expenses and life itself. We will connect by means of the podcast when I go live. Get the book. Leave your comments wherever you purchase it from. It's available on Amazon. It's available in Barnes & Noble online, Ingram Sparks website. It's available in a lot of locations as a paperback. It's available at listenblackmedia.com. It's available at audiobooks.com. It's available in the Google Play Store. It's available on Apple Books as audiobooks. It's available on Spotify audiobook. Get the book. Get my book. Let's connect. Failure is not final. It is definitely not fatal unless you choose it to be. No, it's not. Restlessness is not fatal unless you choose it to be. Restlessness is not final. At some point we rise up from our restless state. We can regroup, we can move, we can breathe. Take that deep breath in, y'all. Let it out. Let it out. It's not always about your religious journey or your spiritual journey or your political journey or what's happening in the world at large. Sometimes the greatest war has to be won within yourself. To become the best you can be. The best version of who you want to be. Who you are. What I'm offering to you is just a couple of resources to aid you on that journey to being whom you want to be. The best version of yourself. Thank you for sharing some of your time with me today. Thank you for sharing your energy with me today by means of this video. I feel your consciousness of the universe around me. Although I profess Christianity as a faith, I know full well that before my ancestors embraced Christianity, They embrace God as a whole. The universe is being connected. People around the world, our planet, historically tell stories that are often told in the biblical text, though they had no biblical text. Just one brief example. Native Americans speak of a man and 8 others who have survived the great waters covering the earth. Same story is told in the biblical text of Noah. Stories are transcendent of cultures, whether we accept them as being factual or not. Biblical stories are transcendent of cultures. Concepts are transcendent of cultures and backgrounds and religions. Yes, sir. Alfred, you packed a lot in this video. I hope I did. As I take this more seriously, this content creation more seriously, to work at it as if my life depended on it, my livelihood depended on it, because the life I desire for me and my family in this time and space, the things I desire to create for my grandkids, and hopefully cross over and share with Karen and her kids and grandkids, things we will create together in this time and space, that's connected to present and futures, yet built upon the foundation of the past, her past, my past, our past, cannot just be done by working a job and punching the clock. The issues such as I spoke on about Israel, Gaza, religion as a whole, my journey. I'm not the only one in this headspace, y'all. I know I'm not. I have watched countless videos of others in similar space telling their stories. I'm not. I've had conversations with people. I'm not the only one. I'm there with you, whether I know you or not. I once said when I first started my writing journey that a silent tongue changes nothing. I'm embracing the energy, though I'm not there with them, of the students protesting. The genocide is happening in the Middle East. It has not been 60 years ago when people such as me marched on the George Pettis Bridge in Alabama and their blood was spilt. They became broken black storytellers. There are people who are alive now today that came out of slavery. They're in their hundreds. They remember the bloody history of this country, much the same as the blood being spilled in the Middle East. There's a great effort to suppress the voices of those who are being oppressed. The ones who were oppressed came to this continent, this place called America, for a better life, and they became the oppressors. Much the same as those repatriated Zionists of Jewish descent, you may say, in a sense, as a religion, that is, the Jewish sense of religion. Their relatives came out of the Holocaust, were relocated in the place known as Israel. And now they're perpetrating the same horrors that were perpetrated upon their ancestors. Some of the same ills were perpetrated upon my ancestors in a different way perpetrated now upon people of color. There's so many poems in that book I could share with you, but I'm going to share with you one poem. I'm going to get off of this video and be done with it. Because we, the living, must be conscious of the need to rise up, to speak up, and to tell those who wants to silence us, stop us, slow us down, rewrite our fucking history, and relegate us, men, women, people of color, women as a whole, back to a time and space where a certain demographic controlled everything. We must send to them this message and be heard loudly by means of social media, be heard loudly each and every time we have a conversation with someone who wants to America as it was, the world as it was days back. But we would not be silenced. We would not be deterred. We will speak from every stage, every microphone, every audience, every place we go. In places of our worship where we may not agree with their theology, we will still speak up as need be, as the cause arises to speak. Our tongues will not be silent with the attempted eradication of DEI programming. It's happening here. There's so much I can go on and on about, but I've tied in quite a bit that's being covered even in a short synopsis form in this book. My book. We will not be silenced. We will not be moved. We will not be deterred. We will tell those voices who are trying to silence us, change us, force us into some mold. Then nope, not today. Two things, I'm going to close out with these last two things. I was sharing with my wife that a storm is coming. The storm's already here. The storm's already here. We're in a turbulent election year here in this country. And basically we get the choice of, I won't say two evils, as far as presidential election goes, as far as the local election goes. Presidential election first. We'll have a choice of two less than desirable candidates, both with blood, in a sense, on their hands. Yet one is still speaking to try to preserve what democracy we have, what freedom we have, so that we can create content like this. The one who is not encouraging the seeking of police or peaceful protesters, such as at these college campuses, who's currently occupies the White House. May not agree with all his policies, may not agree with his position on Israel and Gaza situation, may not agree with how the Congress is handling our economy, certain members moving. But we must come to an agreement, I believe, and choose the greater of the lesser two. That's all I'll say about that part. The second part, I'll share with you one poem from the book. It's entitled Broken Blacks. I gotta find it. I had it picked out. I'm thumbing through it now as I get to wrap this up, because I went way beyond 10 minutes. I'll probably be a 10-minute video. I'll be in and out. The poem is actually entitled Broken Black Storytellers. We are humanity's healers, hope creators when all hope seems gone. We are humankind's poets, preachers, politicians, singers, songwriters, musicians, and dancers. We are time's melodies. It's the rhythm of life. Sang in psalms, written in proverbs, spoken in whispers and thunders. We are Christians, Jews, Muslims. We are the builders of our world's religions. We were once united into voice to God until Nimrod started building a tower to reach God's heaven. We are Adam's seed, created from Eden's black soil. Christ's seed, created from God's promise to Abraham. We are humankind's healers, hope creators. Where all hope seems gone. We are humankind's poets, preachers, politicians, singers, songwriters, musicians, and dancers. We are time's melody, its rhythm of life, sung in psalms, written in proverbs, spoken in whispers and thunder. We are Moses' voice speaking from the Pentateuch. We are Jesus Christ Beatitude proclaimers. We are Frederick Douglass. A smile or a tear has no nationality. Joy and sorrow speak alike to all nations, and they, above all the confusion of tongues, proclaim the brotherhood of man. We are Langston Hughes' Black Nativity. We are Maya Angelou's Caged Bird. We are Bloody Sunday and Selma. We are black voices of salvation singing on America's holy day. Segregated Sunday. I thank you for your time. Please click the link associated with this video. Subscribe to our podcast. Buy Split Souls in Transition and purchase it. Let's continue this life journey together. Regardless of your race, creed, nationality, political or religious affiliation, of your heart, it's a heart that screams humanity, that we are humanity. Then you will do as I ask you to do.